Welcome back, everyone, to Season 3 of the Inkosi Super Cup. We are in week number 3, and we are joined by the first-time debut of one of your talent hosts that have won their contract, that have won their way into it. It's Ario OG. Welcome, man. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, but nervous. First time ever doing this outside your normal form of Fortnite. So let's see exactly what we can see when it comes to action in the PUBG Mobile community. Looking forward to this one.
That should be good, should be good. So tonight we've got a bit of a cracker of a tournament. So we've had 179 teams register for the third week of the Inkosi Super Cup. So that's insane. They've obviously been playing their way through. We've whittled it down to a select few that are going to be playing tonight in your couple of maps that they have the opportunity to get as many points as they can, get up on that leaderboard, get as high up on the leaderboard as they possibly can. And of course, the way that they're going to do that is with these three maps. So you've got Erangel, you've got Sanhok, and we got Miramar. Three maps, three opportunities to get as many points as possible. Of course, placement and kills, they come into the combination. Of course, the higher your placement, the higher points you get. Every single kill is an extra point, and that combination is going to get you, well, hopefully, quite far up the leaderboard. For the moment, if we can look at it, let's look at why they're doing this. Let's look at the prize pool. Let's see why people are coming back week after week, why they're registering every single week to come and compete. And of course, it's that juicy little prize pool that's sitting there. Every single week, there's $105 up for grab, with fourth place taking 15, third place taking 15, second place taking a cool $30, and of course, first place going to be running away with $45 and being quite happy and content to do so. So, I mean, after three maps, these teams are going to know exactly who's going to be taking the prize money away for this week. And of course, we're going to see a little bit of a storyline to see which teams have been, climbing up that leaderboard. So, Alex, to give you a little bit of a rundown, we've had some fantastic couple of matches. We've had teams like, of course, Yonkers who've come through and they've been really consistent with some crazy strats. In fact, we've had some crazy strats. We've had teams sitting in cars that are upside down in the zone, hiding from teammates. We've had people sitting in sheds with like 50 meds, hiding and doing what they need to do to stay alive to get to top 2. So it's an interesting game, and it's an interesting time to see these players in Inkosi. Of course, the way that they're playing, it's unconventional. It's not what we usually see in Umzansi, but it's definitely welcomed. I think the unusual strats are definitely a little bit fun. I don't know. What do you think? You know, if we talk about conventional strats to maybe something a little bit unexpected and weird, but interesting.
I mean, if you're talking about people, sitting in sheds, camping it out and going for those med kits, heals, or whatever the case may be, you could see the teams like Yonkos and them getting that W key effect into the lobby. So as they picking up those eliminations, picking up those kills, they growing up on the leaderboard with them points. So while you're getting placement points and not eliminations as such, it's going to be a battle for you through the 3 games to actually, grab that prize pool if you are wanting to get into the first, second position, because that's looking really juicy. Couple $45 for first place.
It's very easy. If I was any good at PUBG Mobile, I would be playing PUBG Mobile.
Exactly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can barely type a WhatsApp message quite correctly. So me playing PUBG Mobile is not a good idea. Not in the slightest. And I said it in Umzansi, and I'm going to say it again. I feel like we don't give it credit enough to the players that play this on mobiles. Yeah. Like, I don't notice it at all. I've watched so many hours of PUBG PC and PUBG Mobile, and the only thing that's really differentiating the two, for me personally, is the graphics. Otherwise, you know, your movement, the kills that are coming through, looks the same.
Definitely, yeah.
What's your opinion on mobile gaming?
Mobile gaming is like your new venture to get into esports. I mean, it's on the rise, especially in Africa itself. You got, COD Mobile, PUBG Mobile, and soon, very soon, Valorant Mobile coming to the esports scene. So it is a venture to get into. And with Nordwind Gaming Africa tournaments like these, I mean, you can expect some consistent prize pool tournaments to enter into. So it's been an interesting, form of device.
Yeah, no, and it opens up to a lot of gamers that normally wouldn't have the same opportunities. So for those of you watching, don't worry, you only have to listen to my voice for the first map. After that, Fire will be joining and holding Alex's hand as they take us through the rest of the maps. But for Erangel, for our first map of the evening, I will be joining you, Alex, and we'll be taking us through the play-by-play for tonight. So I think it's going to be a spicy one. I think, a couple of the teams, they've obviously had some reasons to come back, not only to get those points, but to show what they're made of and to potentially go up the leaderboard so much further. So, of course, just a reminder: this is the Inkosi Super Cup, sorry, season 3, hosted by Northern Gaming Africa. So, if you're not following those socials, you guys are missing out on not only the announcement of these awesome weekly cups, but of course all the leaderboards and things like that that you might want to be keeping touch on. You might see a couple of these names in Umzansi. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? But as we look at the flight path heading here from west to the right side, close to Milta Power, as the drops come through, of course, it's interesting how this always starts, because my question for these new teams is, okay, are we going to see teams that are just going to go outright aggressive? Of course, they've been playing the entire day. They've been warming up. They're ready. So naturally, you would expect a little bit of aggression, maybe see what you can get away with, especially on a map like Erangel. That's like your default map. So for you Fortnite users out there, it's like your one base map that you know and love. It hasn't changed at all throughout the seasons, unlike the rest. So you should know it. I don't know. What is your take on this? Would you go aggressive here? Would you stay passive, play for placements, or do a little bit of both?
Honestly, for me, it is a 3 game, so it's a gamble going off spawn. You could easily get into a 1v1 situation against another team that has similar skill to you. So it would be a difficult one. Play it out first game for me, test out what's happening, what is my opponents like. But like you've mentioned, these players have been going back to back and scrimming, practicing, and so forth. So let's see what happens throughout this map. But my off-spawn route would probably be passive, and then to mid-game and game rotations, try get as much more kills as possible with the long shots and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, Erangel, it's that 8x8 block, so it's one of your bigger maps. It's not as crazy in terms of long distance as you normally would see on Miramar, but it's a beautiful combination of long range to medium range, and especially those close quarter combats in the buildings. As we can see right now, Fun, they've unfortunately already dropped 2 members, and they have to potentially deal with a lot more, because Mars is just around the corner looking for bloods. Only 2 members left. K9 still looking for some guns. No armor to actually even work with at this point. So Derry has to pretty much do it all. He has to save his teammate. He has to take everyone else out, and then they hopefully have to survive for the first map. So already, unfortunately for them, this is not looking too great. K9 has made it inside the building, but now still the question is, okay, well, where are you guys? Where's the enemy?
Yeah, a lot of passive movement between the builds over there, staying cautious of who's around them. It's just a matter of time before they encounter each other, and one team will get eliminated by the other.
Absolutely. Clutch card here. Got the mids. Getting on in, and as the rest of the team rotates in, Noob actually has a beautiful angle here from the hillside. Might be able to spot 1 or 2 members here in the windows, depending on where they peek, but has to be cautious of what's around him. As you can see, Thunder also looking around, scared of what's might be coming through. Third parties, fourth parties, we hate them. Battle Royale is full of them, so always need to be looking out for them at the moment. And I mean, Hospital already starting to be a little bit dicey at the moment. I'm not sure how Fun can get out of this at this point. I mean, they're pretty much sandwiched. No real way out without getting spotted.
I mean, maybe the best bet here is for K9 and Derry to come together and sit in a room together. That way it's more safe for them. But let's see what happens. Keeping the angles from them. It's very passive from both teams. Nobody's pushing in, even though Noob and them do have the upper hand in terms of more teammates alive. But the HP on Clutch Guard as well, he's looking to find some heals as he heals up a bit there. But Derry and K9 just sitting docks in the house. And, all exits are literally covered by the oppositions here. So it's just a matter of time before we see exactly what goes into play.
Yeah, they have to be careful. Just on the horizon, you've got a couple of teams rotating in. Of course, we can see Hydra there from SN, who might join the party, especially if they hear the gunshots. So they have to get moving at some point, especially with the zone coming through. Need to get a little bit of movement going. This loot phase is definitely not what they want. They don't want to be wasting so much time waiting for one team or the other. So I do see some vehicles getting moved in, but Clutch Guard might be the trigger here for Mars to get this fight going and potentially get out of it. As you can see, not the best mez. Thankfully has found an energy drink, so can boost up a little bit, and that's the trigger for the rest of the team to now start clearing these angles, start clearing these rooms, find out where exactly are these members from Fun hiding, because they need to get rid of them, or they need to rotate through. They've heard the vehicles come through. they know that they're in danger if they stay here too long. So yeah, it's it's your loot phase. You want to get kitted up. You don't want to be wasting on fights that are like this stretched out, in my opinion, because I mean, let's say you put in all your resources, you put all your chips in one basket, you take it out, and then they don't even have the resources that you need because you've drawn out this fight for so long. So you've had the fight, cool, you got the points, but not as many of the spoils as you would need for the rest of the fights going through into the rest of the map. So we'll have to tune in later to see how that's going through. Now here we got an interesting team. Hawes, actually one of the teams that took one of the winner chicken dinners last week, if I'm not mistaken. So also a team that has been performing pretty well. They're not sitting, as high on the leaderboard as a team like Yonkers because
Yeah.
we kind of only really saw them pop off last week. We didn't see them pop off in the first week. So, I mean, for the Inkosi Super Cup, if you want to get high on that leaderboard, it's really about like consistency. You need to come
Yeah.
register every week after every week.
Yeah, so definitely the consistency based of how your three games can go. If you know that perhaps last week we played a lot more safe and we did get a lot of more placements. However, maybe this time around you look at getting a lot more eliminations to compare to last week so that you can grow on the leaderboard, get those points in. And still here you can see K9, Derry and them very much still passive. They sitting on the one end and the other noob and them covering that building. Still hasn't come to an elimination here. There's some action.
It might be over and done with now. One member's been spotted out. Derry's down to barely 10 HP. Kanon has also taken a couple of shots, and now he's the only member left here for fun that has to do it all. 1v4 at this point. I mean, some damage has been dealt, but now maybe it's just time to hightail it and run if you can. But Mars is going to say no.
Yeah, unfortunately, a clean wipe from the team noob and them. So let's see exactly what they can do. They're looking really strong with spawn already, but a lot of their heals already used up. So they're going to need to go to a different PI or find some eliminations through the mid game rotations.
Yeah, that's hopefully the case. I mean, this is usually where a lot of teams are going to get caught out, right? So especially with the teams that have done the early rotations, they're sitting in the zone, they're waiting and just containing anyone that is planning to come through their path to, get to safety. So then it's an easy, just sit on top of the hill, camp, take a couple of shots, maybe get a couple of kills. But either way, I mean, for Mars, that's a great little team wipe there. So they're going to be taking those 3 kills with them into the leaderboard. I don't know where the 4th one went, but it's all right. 3 points is nothing to snuff at. And if we turn our attention back to Horse here, one's going to be going out. And now where is the rest as Horse rotate through? They have drawn attention, so they need to be careful here. A little bit split up. We've got some of the members here on top of the building. We've got some in the streets looking to take more fights. But they need to be careful here because, of course, we know third parties are always prowling. So Rex under a little bit of pressure at the moment. They've got only 3 members remaining. One, unfortunately, was taken out in a position not to be recovered. Vehicle in. Ooh, actually, look at this. So 2 are currently in the fight, whereas one has gone and gotten a vehicle to get the rotation coming through, but he's going to be delayed. So that time that it's going to take, their member to bring the vehicle, to bring the reinforcements, if you can take it that way, that might give Hawes all the time they need to take this team wipe.
Yeah, definitely. So Rex and them needing to just sit docs, wait for that teammate to make that rotation in. As you can see, he's almost just about to meet up with Rex and them, but still good positions from the oppositions right here. They can keep the locations on them and, maybe get a surround on them, just like how Noob and them did on K9. So interesting to see what pans out for the team over here.
Hopefully, only good things. I mean, it is nice to see, names that we recognize from the previous week coming back because, as we were talking about it, consistency, and it's not something like, okay, you sign up for the first week, you signed up for the rest of the weeks. You have to sign up for each week individually. It's basically a separate cup every single week. So it's that extra little bit of admin, but it's that extra little bit of opportunity that you give yourself, not only to get some money, but also to get yourself up on that leaderboard, which, at the end of the day, that's been the story for everyone because they've been doing that to get into those promotion relegation matches for Umzansi. At the end of the day, this is where everything starts. It's Inkosi. So again, guys, follow Nodwin Gaming Africa's socials. Otherwise, you're not going to know when you need to do these things, okay? That's the only way that I know when I have to do things. So please, go follow them. It's important. If we look at it, though, Mio has found a little bit of success there, taking down MGC. So some damage and some contention being spread out. MGC actually might be looking at a team wipe right now. We've got 17 teams left at the moment, so keep an eye on the numbers. And Yonkers as well. There's a name that we know, but unfortunately, they're not doing what we know. They're taking some damage at this point, some knocks coming through. So we'll have to wait and see what happens to Yonkers later on. But that might spell a little bit of disaster for our current leaders.
Yeah, Outlaw trying to get some beams in the distance over there. You can see there's a knock. Maybe take some heals as well in this position before getting that heal. It's 10 seconds there. This should be enough time to get that revive.
Should be indeed. But have to worry about it, yeah. I mean, cover's in plenty here for Hawes. I mean, they can do whatever they need to. Hide out around the corners. You know, they've got some hilltops. They got the trees to work with. So for Yonkers, I do see 3 names just hiding there around the hilltop. Wonder if they got that res off in time. So this is actually interesting. Hawes and Yonkers going to be the first to find each other. We'll see how. We'll have to wait and see how that's going to end up, because that might spell disaster already for one of our leaders.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this? You know, you know that you're going to be in a group with a team like Yonkers. Do you know, would you be one of those teams that goes and just targets them, take out your leaders early on?
I mean, as it stands right now, it's very risky. A third party could come into play while, the leaderboard looks, or the players participating in this looks at it and be like, wait, there's a matchup between Yonkers and the oppositions right now. We can push into this quickly. We can hear those gunshots coming into action. We know exactly where they are. So as Yonkers right now, stay put and see exactly what happens. It is some damage being dealt over here, though, so let's see what happens.
Indeed. Ooh, a lot of damage still being dealt. We're still stuck with 17 teams, though, so as players are dropping, entire teams haven't dropped just yet. I think we've had 1 or 2, but ultimately not a crazy amount of, team wipes, which is sort of expected for early game, especially on Erangel from what we've seen in the African meta.
Huge map.
For the moment. SF, they have found a potential victim here. And that might not be the best of opportunities here.
Ooh,
nades are in. Oh, boom, boom, boom. That's unfortunate now. So I mean, some players going out, but still the team is alive and hiding and afraid, because Rex have just heard what's going on here, and now, well, only 1 member remaining, unfortunately. I mean, I feel like Rex have just been, running from team fight to team fight, so. Yeah, so I mean, for this point on, now they just have to worry about placement points, or who knows, we might see a little bit of John Wick action, one solo just going absolutely ham on the rest of the lobby, but for the time being, I think retreating is the best bet. And yeah, like we were saying, Erangel, quite a big map, so it is expected that, teams might be missing each other, especially in your earlier stages. We're only on zone 3 at the moment, but there's still quite fairly good consistent activity all around. So I'm happy to see that, not all of the teams are sitting passively and just waiting for placements. They're still going for those active kills. You can see here, Act. I mean, they're just looking for anyone and everyone right now. Hydro, unfortunately, is going to be that first target, though.
Looking like
trying to connect the shots.
Just missing them right there. Hydro picking up on him. This could be a perfect, but he does get that knock there. Hydro gets the demon.
Yeah, onto Saints at the moment, which I think might just be behind the hilltop. So, I mean, at this point, Kesh just doing a little bit of damage, maybe, chipping away at the HP, but unfortunately for the moment, not connecting to anything just yet. Act have taken up positions here, just waiting for Mars to peek around and say, how you doing? At the moment, SN and C4 having a little bit of a fight going on, and so far SN is in the lead with 2 going down. We'll have to tune in later to see how that's going, but I think C4 might be one of our team wipes at this point. Looking at the kills, it's not looking great. Mars as well taking nades left, right, and center. They are feeling the brunt of it. The util coming through, and the spray is good.
Mars eliminated over there. GG's.
My goodness gracious. After nades, after sprays like that, it's no wonder that there's knocks.
Yeah, knocks coming into effect over there. So much nades from the team right here.
Yeah, the utility is really working to their advantage at the moment, but they still have to find 2 more members in this building, so that with itself takes quite a bit of a risk there. Blood, though, taking quite a bit of chip damage there just from the window tops. Has to be careful with the molly as well. Get those meds up as soon as possible, and I like this from Act, right? So they've sent a few members in to, rein in whoever they can find in close quarter combat, but the rest are sitting on top of the hill. At least just one is sitting on top of the hill to get some crossfire, to get some covering fire, potentially get a knock here and there if they can force them into a corner. So they've really done well to contain Mars at this point, because now they're running out of options, right? Like we said, similar to what we saw earlier with that initial fight, which Mars was actually the one to win out, and now they're getting a little bit of a taste of their own medicine.
And we don't know exactly how much heals they have in their back pockets right now as it stands. And we did mention that, that off-spawn fight did take some time to actually get the cleanup. So they could eventually be, in a position where they pressured to use all the heals. But now jumping into the vehicle of their Clutch God taking the exit could be that Blood and Thunder stays behind over here. And, Clutch God gets that placement points for the team. Could be a sacrifice that we could possibly see from the team.
Ooh, or a little bit of a car chase at this point. So
possibly.
I thought Clutch was going for maybe a little bit of an early flank, but Act have spotted it out. They don't want to let anyone run away. So good little bit of game sense there to get into a better position. Also closer to the zone as well, so making that rotation early on. Spotting out another team there, which I think is in the form of Raze, taking a couple of shots, not connecting anything just yet, but doing some damage. Yeah. And now forcing them just behind the rock to hide and hopefully pray for a little bit of cover. Have to be careful. There's the return. Saints are going to chime in and take out Gad. So now all of a sudden, it's recovery mode for Act. Now they have to, instead of going from an advantageous position, they have to try and rescue their teammate, which at this point I don't see happening. And we tune into Mew taking a couple of shots there with MGC, who have just had a couple of team wipes. So we're down to 14 teams.
Yeah, a couple of teams is dropping dead in those mid-game rotations right there. A very aggressive push from Act. But it does look like he's going to get that revive now with that smoke grenade in action. If I was Saint, I would have pushed in really aggressive there, because they do got the upper hand in terms of members alive in their team. So
Perhaps. Oh, so BH now in a position, 2 members alive. That red should come through. Rocco, though, has to be careful, has to protect his teammate while those meds pop off, because there are teams everywhere at this point. That, we're on 4th zone at this point. Everyone's getting corralled into such a small area, right on top in the middle of this valley. So, cover as well. Buildings right now are such a high commodity. Everyone's going to be going for that real estate. Everyone wants that cover. Everyone is going to be fighting tooth and nail to get that little bit of safety. Especially, if you look at the rest, as we saw, it's just a hilltop with a couple of trees. So if you're one of those teams that are just hurdling around a treetop, and you have to worry about teams all in your 360 view of vision, then you're going to be in a little bit of a situation here. We've got Raze there on the top of the hill taking some nice couple of shots. Mars somehow, some way, still alive.
Some way, somehow. They've managed to escape the players there. I thought, Clutch God was just going to be the player to, disengage from that and then play for the placements. But it looks like Thunder and Blood managed to meet up with him, and there goes the rotations now. The zone pushing in. It's getting really tight right now. A lot of players still alive in the zones. So the areas where you can hide is becoming limited as well. You will get a lot of people taking those third-party shots as well. It's a very open, and Blood does manage to knock somebody with the vehicle over there.
Oh, as we said, placements and kill points, the most deadly combo that you can get in PUBG Mobile for, as many points as you can. And at this point, everyone should be gunning for those points, especially in that first map. You've been playing against, some of these teams all day long. You kind of have an idea of what you're up against. You have an idea of what you can get away with as well.
Definitely.
So I'm happy to see that these teams are taking some bold little vehicle action, maybe getting a couple of kills that way. It's good. It really is, because you're just expanding your territory. You're making it safer for yourself, of course, just taking down those members. And as you can see, the rotations coming through. Oh, that is ballsy, just going straight down the middle, hoping that no one's going to be shooting at them. SF though getting some beautiful shots onto Yonkers at the moment, actually. So Yonkers, I think, might have just been team wiped. We'll have to tune into it now. But, SF doing fantastically at this point. So they've got 9 team kills at this moment. And they don't seem to be stopping.
Not at
all. They're
in
a great position in terms of zone. I mean, they're so close to rotating in. And they've got pretty much everyone in front of them to work with.
Lots of guns fire going back and forth. SN picking up more eliminations as well as Legacy. But now in Raze, you can see they got one knocked player, and it's literally 2 in this building. Another player gets knocked here by Raze. So it's GG's, man. He's taking a couple heals for himself. But what do you do in this position, Esmery?
I don't see what you can do. I mean, the smoke's getting popped. He's going to have to try and make a run for it, literally and figuratively, and hope that no one's going to be shooting through that. Because one little couple of shot here might be the end for Aqua, and that might be the end for Raze as they go down in 11th place. So need to get those Razes coming up as soon as possible. Their teammates have managed to get outside, so making the trip a little bit sooner. No, this is working out beautifully. Because everyone else is worried about the rotations. Because look at that zone. Everyone is clustered into such a small area.
I mean, we're coming into those final gameplays now. Who do you think is going to be grabbing the winner chicken dinner today for game number 1?
Oh, it's still quite early to tell, but at the moment, everyone is putting in a very convincing argument. I think Hawes as well, they've been doing fantastically, been quite consistent. You've seen SF as well, making some clutch plays with the kills up to 9. Might be a little bit more as they rotate in, but everyone has made those early rotations. So at the moment, I think everyone is literally in front of SF, if I'm looking at it. So they have a beautiful angle on everything that's happening right in front of them, and they just got the zone as well. So SF right now in the best position possible. The zone obviously loves them, this map loves them, and everything might be going their way, because as you can see in the kill feed, SN and Saint, they're still fighting it out, but SF, they just keep chipping in. They just keep stealing a couple of knocks here and there. They're so active right now that they're sitting on, there's a reason that they're sitting on 10 team kills, right?
Definitely.
They're constantly active. They're constantly looking for, those stragglers, the individuals that are not in a position to get rezzed, which is fantastic for them, and I really like what I'm seeing. But now, as I'm cheesing them up a little bit, look at this. Nostra going to be taking a knock, and they might be getting some damage now, and they might be the team that is under pressure. If we turn back to Saints, they still have to deal with the full brutality of Whores that are just rotating out of this situation. Done quite a bit of damage for the moment, but MGC is there to punish them for this rotation, and SN might be right on their heels as we look at it. So those early rotations not working out too great, and now SF all of a sudden, as I was talking about it, their position is known and they're not in a great place. Whores as well down to 1 member alive, and SF can pretty much be said the same. ZZB as well, just behind that car, you can see everything, so they can pretty much ruin anything and everything for SF at this point.
I mean, it's those early rotations that sort of put you in a tough position, because while you're targeting all the teams that are not in zone, they're aware of where you are, your position, and so forth. So players can go left and right and pick up SF right there, and you can see 2 players being downed. It's Wizard and Nashos who's literally going to be the players to clutch up for the team over there. On the other hand, Mars is still alive and doing numbers in the lobby as well. So you got Clutch God and Thunder needing to make some rotations. SN as well. Crazy amounts of players still needing to make those rotations.
Yeah, ZZB has really been a thorn in SF's side, so he's doing fantastically for Act right now, making sure he's getting as many knocks as he can, really just doing so much damage. It's chewing away at everyone's consumables, and you can just see constant gunfire left, right, and center. No one is quiet at this point in time. SN as well, they're feeling the brunt of it. Act still coming in clutch. Only 2 members of Act alive right now, but they are doing the damage. They're doing the work. SN still alive in this as well with 9 kills, so I don't know what it is with the S teams today, but all the S teams seem to be getting all the kills, and Act coming through with their own with 6 at the moment. So I'm loving this. Everyone is so active and so well violent, actually. But it's great to see.
At this point, SF is looking really like they've managed to pick up their players, if I'm not mistaken. They look like they're walking around right there, but Act on the other hand does get knocked by Kira, so nice grenade play from them. that is left to one player. He's really low on HP.
I don't know how SF are alive still. They were down to 2 members.
I don't understand how they managed to get the revive while everyone was rotating inwards.
Ooh, we have to be careful. Mars has officially been dropped as the 7th team. They finally died after like fighting like 7 teams. So kudos to them for staying alive this long. But for the moment, it looks like MGC only have 1 member remaining, and that's Legacy, who's just hiding behind a tree in some smoke, hoping that no one's going to be throwing bullets his way. Yeah. And for the moment, ZZB also still fighting SF. He hasn't given up.
He has not, and it does look like he's still got one member of the Rays who's just chilling quietly in the end over there. And yeah, SN is in a good position right there. A couple knocks from Rays. Rays actually manages to pick up Nova. Axe as well. So much gunfire going back and forth here.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to stop at all. We are down to the top 4 members, top 4 teams, top 3 teams as I look at it. And it might have been Rays that just dropped as the last team. So 8 members alive, 3 teams, and I think ACT might be one of the first to go out, as SF are just throwing all of their resources at finally getting rid of the thorn in their side, which has been ACT consistently and so good. They really have. Oh, Zelgod going to be going out. So unfortunately now we're looking at ACT and SF, the final 2 teams fighting it out. ZZB still doing fantastically, taking out Nostra. And now SF, they have to work it back. That nade's going to be placed beautifully to take out ZZB. So it's only Ted Bundy, and Ted Bundy is going to be taken out. SF is going to be taking the first winner chicken dinner. And I mean, look at those kills. That is insane. Looking at it now, not only did they get the most amounts of placement points, right? Not only did they get the max 15, which is fantastic on its own. But now you go and you're like, okay, well, that wasn't good enough. We're going to just get 16 kill points right on top of that, making a total of, what is that, 31?
31 points.
31 points for your first game?
That is absolutely crazy. I mean, they've set the stone for the rest of the 2 games that's yet to come for the Inkosi Super Cup right here. So I'm looking forward to see what exactly that means. You know, maybe Erangel was their main PI or main map to practice and scrim this week, and you know they've changed things around. But let's see exactly what happens for the next 2 maps.
Yeah, I mean, ACT also did fantastically well. ZZB, I have to shout out ZZB. If I'm butchering your name, I'm sorry. You can shout it later. But fantastic work by this beautiful player. Really, I mean, they were a constant irritation for SF. There was not a time where ZZB was literally just punishing them for any sort of peaks, for just even thinking about rotating through. He was there. Well, they were just there to put the bullets in, and really did fantastic work there. Unfortunately for ACT, they're going to have to settle for 2nd place, but really fantastic work. If we look at that leaderboard there, woo! SF 31, 10-point lead to Active Gaming. Active Gaming did a lot of pressure to SF in that position, but I was surprised to see, SF not double key to Active as soon as possible, but still really good gameplay. Exorcia as well was one of the teams which I was sort of hoping they would have come first. They had a full squad at the back there, staying safe, but it was SF who was putting a lot of pressure on the lobby right here. Yeah, I mean, they don't call them Scrim Farm for nothing, right?
Exactly.
I think they've come through, they've done the practice that they needed to, and that is a beautiful first result. And again, I think, for the rest of the teams that unfortunately didn't get those placement points, as we know, you only really start getting placement points after, 13th place up, etc., etc. Going out as the first team never feels good. It really doesn't, but someone had to do it, and now you've still got 2 more maps for the rest of the evening to come back and get a little bit of revenge. That's what you need to look at it. It's your revenge moment. Has to come full circle. You have to do it. So what do you think? First map?
I mean, that was a really intense game from everyone. I always thought there was going to be that solid team to take the win, but SF proved victorious in that one. So let's see what happens. I mean, what do you have to say for Yonkos going very early down in the game 1 lobby?
Look, if you're constantly going to be the leader, then it would be very boring. So I'm happy that we're getting a nice competitive edge, from the rest of the teams. I mean, there's different teams that are registering every single week after week. I mean, We had 169 the first week, 184 the second week, 179 this week. I mean, it's easy to see why there would be a different couple of few that are filtering in, and that just means that they're getting better and better. So if you're not constantly keeping up with that trend, you're gonna get caught. And it's battle royale at the end of the day. No one can be perfect. There's so
RNG.
many. It's RNG central, dude. It's battle
Yeah.
royale. It's what we love. It's what we hate at the same time. So it's what we have to work with. So I'm sad for Yonkers because they have some of the most interesting strats I've ever seen. Big
Exactly.
balls plays, but they do well. And at the
Yeah.
end of the day, this is what we expect. Still two more maps, so we'll see. Sanhok and Miramar might be where they come through, or maybe we might see a completely different storyline tonight. So for those of you watching, you're gonna have to wait just a little while longer. We are gonna go to a quick break, but when we come back, it's still the Inkosi Super Cup Season 3 hosted by Nodwin Gaming Africa, and it's still the best PUBG Mobile that you're going to see this side of Africa, other than Umzansi, of course. But we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Season 3 of the Inkosi Super Cup. We are on Week 3, and we've just finished the first map, which, of course, was Erangel. So let's take a look at those standings. Give Fire, welcome back, an opportunity to talk about it, because I'm sure he is dying with excitement to just talk about that first matchup. So, Fire, take it away. What are your thoughts?
All right, so this was definitely a game that was filled up of a lot of new teams coming into the game. We saw Scream come into this one like they were like a team that was rejuvenated. They wanted to show what they were all about. Same thing too with Active Gaming coming in there in second place. I mean, they did lose two players, and they could have probably performed better in that final circle. You also saw the guys in the third place, Exusia. I hope I pronounced that well. I mean, all these teams got themselves a whole lot of kills. Team So, also being consistent right there in fourth place. Race Clan, Mars, the Magicians, Mortal, Meow Esports coming in, and Hawes not doing as well as they did last week in the first game, but I mean, they're also still right there, getting themselves some pointers, however little as this. Yonkers, who is known to dominate the lobby, I'm not really sure what it was about them today, but they weren't the same team that we saw
Yeah.
last week. Maybe it's because of the different teams that have come on today and providing that extra firepower. You also see Saints right there, Blackhawk Esports, not much from them. TE, so much fun. Who just were unfortunate in the beginning of the match against Mars, Rain,
Mm.
C4, and Beta MOB. So hopefully more of these teams will get into the action and get themselves better points in the next one.
Yeah, and for those of you watching, this is just a reminder of the schedule. So, of course, we're going to go to Sanhok next, which is, as we know, quite a small map, quite a fun map, because Close Quarter Combat is the name of the game on that one. Quite a beautiful scenery to watch, so don't worry, that flight will be starting shortly. But if you look at it, I mean, Alex, I'll take it to you. What do you think overall could be the difference if you come back week after week? You're so used to dominating, like in Yonkers' position, right? You're so used to dominating, and then, as you mentioned, all of a sudden you're playing against a completely new set of teams and play styles, and they looked a little bit indecisive in terms of the rotations. But what do you think else came into to play that some of the teams that we know so well, that do so well today, not the case?
I mean, sometimes, like you just mentioned, it could be the rotation that had happened. The communication between the team as well was probably a disconnect somehow. But, that game one will give them a sense of feel of what is happening with the new teams coming on board, what their rotations feel like. So Sanhok could be, okay, well, guys, it is a different week, new strategies involved. Let's stick more together. Let's not get overconfident, because that could have been the feel going into this week. Last week dominating, etc., and getting excited for those gameplays. This time around, they need to be more steady, more firm on those rotations as well as communications. Use your buildings much more. Don't just freely rotate outwards, because overconfidence can be a bit of a kill. I mean, we can look at the leaderboard now and seeing Yonkers not even in the top 10 position. So let's see exactly what that means for them. Game 2, Lobby 2. Interested to find out what are they all about this time around.
Yeah, and of course, for those of you watching, we'll only see the overall standings at the end of tonight. So at the end of all three maps, you'll find out where Yonkers might have shifted. But still two maps left, so who knows? As we said, maybe Sanhok, maybe Miramar is what exactly they're waiting for. Maybe now they've, had the wake-up call, and they'll sort out whatever they need to sort out and come back as the Yonkers that we all know and love. But also, I'm happy to see that there's so many new teams. Like we mentioned, Fire, there's so many new names all of a sudden that not only have made it into the filter, that have gone through the qualifying games today and have come through to actually play today in the match. So it's fantastic to see, because it also means that they're getting better. It means that the competition is still stiffening up, because you never know who's going to be ending up here. You never know who's going to be having the opportunity to get those leaderboard points. So, I just have a little bit of a news for you. So again, if you're not following Northern Gaming Africa on their socials, you're not going to get the overall leaderboard, because I was wrong. It's only going to be on the socials. So please go make sure that you go and follow them. It's Northern Gaming Africa on pretty much everything. But I'm going to leave you guys in the capable hands of Fire and Ira. They're going to be taking you through Sanhok. It is the Inkosi Super Cup Season 3, Week number 3. You guys take it away.
All right, hey guys, what's up? We're now welcome to the second game of the night. We're in Sanhok. That first game was absolutely amazing. I do regret that I was not able to be with you guys. So what's up? What's up, Alex? How you doing today?
Doing well, man. Doing well. First, debut on PUBG Mobile. It was a very interesting game. It's seen a lot of action back and forth, especially from mid-game rotations to those end games. It's just constant fire from the team. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see what Game 2 is going to look like over here. Uh, Fire, could you just tell the audience and everyone at home watching what Sanhok's gameplay is all about? What would you personally be doing here?
Yeah, definitely it's all about close quarters, not lingering on too many fights for too long as those third parties could come in, from behind, left, right, center, any particular angle. So you want to make sure that, you're taking your fights quite quickly and, looting and moving out, getting out of,
Mm,
of fights that you shouldn't linger
yeah.
on for too long. Yeah, but one of the things that I love and to see in this game is when you sort of see how good other teams are. One of the things that I've noticed about Inkosi, aside from Yonkers, there hasn't really been that one dominant team. We've seen a
Yeah.
couple of teams such as Seoul, Villa, even now Active Gaming come into the game and also show how great they are. And today you're also now seeing Scream Farm, who we haven't really seen much of, come into the game and perform quite well. You also see them right here in Sanhok. They're already getting into the action. And they've shown today that they're definitely a clan who's not shy of fighting.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that we're just seeing a lot from them so far.
I think definitely SM showing up today. But this week has been a lot more involved with them. With game number one was 16 eliminations and a winner chicken dinner. So already off of game number one, they've taken the leaderboard with a 10-point lead to act. But a lot of off-spawn action here, and you can see Shield just trying to disengage and get some cover over here using his first aid kit. Clown, I believe, was downed by a third-party shot.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things I do love about SF is how they sort of like tend to circle around their opponents. You can see the way Nostra and Cole just flanked around, getting those angles onto them. But they do need to be careful as the guys from TE and Venom and his teammate right there might come into might just come on the side towards Nostra and do take him down, but he does have cover on the left side, so that may provide one for him. I'm not
Mm.
sure if they're going to be pushing up or just decide to just leave this particular position. And yeah, that's definitely what they're going to be doing right here as they leave this spot. It's just better to go back and fight another day. Just
Yeah.
just get out of that particular one and yeah, you know,
Like
it's
like
SF, so.
Yeah, like you mentioned, these close combat fights should be happening quick, and that SF and Tex sort of trying to combat each other at a distance wasn't really going to work out for the teams of here. So good decision from Tex to, sort of disengage. Now it gives the opportunity for them to go to a different PI, maybe loot up if they're lucky, find another team that, not of some similar skill to SF. Good decision. I'm happy they've done that. It gives also SF the opportunity to loot up successfully. You can see them, going around and doing their things there.
Yeah, definitely giving themselves better chance in this particular game. But now let's talk about some teams that we haven't really seen much of throughout the entire Inkosi, but seeing them in many other competitions, they have done quite well. We also got the guys from MOB and Fun who are usually, very active in so many other screams, but we haven't seen them really come into their rhythm in this particular game. I do feel like as the weeks do progress, they're also going to be another team who would begin to showcase their true prowess and performance and get into that quality of action that we
Mm.
do know them for. There's a lot of interesting teams in this particular lobby, and you never know who's going to just light up at any particular moment.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, at one point I thought Exorcia was going to be the team to grab game one because there were a full team. All four players going
Yeah.
into that end game. You had SF being a full lobby, a full team as well. You had Act being two players and so forth. So their position compared to where SF and Act were going back and forth, I honestly thought they could have come in with a clean wipe on SF and then maybe get act on there. But it was very passive gameplays from the team over here. We did see them, however, trying to rotate and then getting focused by SF being eliminated. So they got a clean wipe. Then it was that 1v1 against Act and SF, which, SF had to come through. It was a 4v2, but there's nothing you can do about those. So let's see what happens here. Exhaustia, they went all the way into that end game, but they didn't have that much eliminations at hand. Hopefully this time around they show up to the party, grab some eliminations, show who they are in game number 2.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the guys from seeing now popping up shots onto Mars as Rajesh is taking some shots right there. He's popping all the shots onto Thunder. And who knows how they're going to play this one. It does look like it's just 2 guys from Saint in that particular position. And they do need to be careful. One of the players deciding to... Oh, okay. So they're just probably deciding to get out of this particular fight. Probably, prioritizing, getting into the zone, getting into better spots than taking early on fights.
Oz had some promising gameplay as well. I mean, they were in a tough position and they managed to get out of that successfully, making it all the way into endgame. This time around, they were up against Saint, but not really that comeback action that we were hoping for on screen right here. Saint and them making the rotations further in.
Yeah, exactly. Saint just getting out of that one. Yes, Miles getting in early on action against Fun in the first game. We did see them show what they're capable of. Really smart gameplay, really being patient. To that final push versus K9 and his teammates, and just to get in that clean wipe. It was interesting to see, but at the same time, they did get caught up by the guys from Active Gaming. They were able to take down one player. But at the end of the day, they did lose that fight, and that's what games like this are capable of. You're a powerful team, you need to also be consistent, take your fight. But sometimes you just meet, another team that's just better at CQC or certain things. And ZBZ from Active Gaming yesterday, in the previous game, was actually on fire. It was just his game.
Yeah, he was showing to the party a lot there, and I mean,
exactly.
As a 2v4, they did extremely well. They kept going back and forth with SF. I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not they do manage to get into the end game rotations this time around, because especially with a full team, seeing what they can contribute to the game 2 right now. But over here you got K9 Derry about maybe trying to get into some action with Meow. So let's see what happens here.
All right, definitely. K9 popping some shots right now onto Meow. Meow's a full team, and they do seem to have the advantage as they are on that hill. If they can get 1 or 2 knocks, you can see right here, Timo is just lying down there on that tower, just waiting for the opportunity and waiting to spot one of the players from Fun. And you never know how this one's going to go. But Fun needs to be really careful right there, because waiting right there on that hill and this lingering on for too long may be dangerous for them. You don't want to stalk a team for way too long in Sanhok. You want to make sure
Definitely
you get into the fight. If you can't, then just rotate in and move to another location. This is definitely another team that's going to be looking to perform well. You see Yonkers right there. They didn't perform as well as they have in the previous week. So they will definitely be looking to get more of those kill points and a good placement in the second game.
Yeah, no, they have a reputation to keep up to, and hopefully they bring that into game 2. The double killing effect, try get some eliminations and place as high as possible. Maybe even getting the winner chicken dinner over there. But Fun being a 3-man, are they showing some aggressive plays here? Trying to get into Meow's position over there, shooting and taking a lot of gunfire to the oppositions. So I mean, looking very fun for Fun.
Lord have mercy for the player who meets Wreck right now, as he's looted that airdrop, ready to go and blast any player who comes his way.
Yeah, that loadout there is looking absolute fire.
Yeah, looking absolute fire. All right, so the guys from Yonkers pretty much just trying to edge this one as they're outside the zone. They're pretty much going to be getting into that spot quite late. But as you can see, the zone now shifting towards that northeast portion of the zone. You can see Hawes just sitting out around there towards around the center with Rays not too far away from them. Fun, active gaming, Meow Esports are pretty much, within a close region. If Fun does linger on that fight for too long, you may see active gaming come in and, get into that third party.
Mm.
So yeah,
I
it's
did.
pretty interesting to see how this goes.
Yeah, I did see Mars and them very far in zone. I wonder what is happening over there. But as they make those rotations in, they still got about a minute and 4 seconds until the zone closes in. Like you mentioned, Sanhok being a very close combat, quick type of action. Well, what do you think about the position here for fun? Do you think they continue staying on this hill over here?
You never know how the strategy is going to go or how the map is going to rotate. So what you want to do is give yourself a chance to rotate in because, in Sandhawk maps, it always moves very fast, very quick. And you want to give yourself the chance to be in the next zone, but you can't really predict these things all the time. They really do have a smart IGL, and I'm sure he knows exactly what he's doing, just waiting at that particular angle. But
Hmm.
for me, lingering in a position where you've been popping up shots for too long is a recipe for third parties, and you want to mitigate those risks, as much as possible, and just not be sitting ducks for another team to third party.
Yeah. Can see Magic also making some rotations in here as well. What do you have to say
All right,
about
yes.
Magic for game number one?
I'm not really sure I did see exactly too much of them.
Okay.
Hopefully, in the second game, they will get into their rhythm a bit more. They do have a team just up in front of them, who's pretty much just sitting down there. I'm not sure if they've been spotted already, but they could easily keep them and make this quite difficult for them. You see Rocco and Cole, just hanging around here, and I'm not sure what exactly the plan is for them. It does look like they're just looting their way. So yeah, MGC probably has to fight their way into the zone or just wait for them to leave that position and then take over that spot.
Mm. Looks like they're
Yeah,
going to be making that dead side rotation on the left instead of cutting into BH. It's a good decision. You got the solo player sort of moving into Ray's position. Let's see what happens. Does look like Fun will be knocked by Saint over there.
Yeah, exactly what we said. You can see they were just round there stalking onto the guys from Meow, and it does look like Saint has now approached onto the location. As we did say
Oh,
about Sandhawk, you don't want to linger in a position for too long, especially
yeah.
when you've exposed yourself. You want to make sure that you get into a spot where you're pretty much unpredictable. And as you can see, K9 trying to pop some shots onto the guys from Saints, it doesn't look like they're going to retreat away from this one. They do want to take the fight. And Meow also coming on to that one with their own third party and taking out one of the guys
Yeah,
with
no,
that nade. But it does
this
look like
is
they've been able to get a res on.
this looks like a perfect opportunity for Derry and K9 maybe to disengage from there so
Oh,
they can continue
that's a
going for that
different
placement.
team. SN. All right,
SN.
Meow in their fights of their own with SN.
Oh, okay, okay. Different fight. We can,
Exactly. Yeah, different fight, different fight, different fight. All right,
Meow
so
obviously
Hydra.
having the upper hand in this position. Hydro being knocked. Meow can push in. You can see they can probably get that clean up on Hydro. Fluffy and Heaven can push up there. You can also Aatrox very much secluded from his team. Oh no! Just like that.
Oh, really deadly one right there as Aatrox does take on one of the players from Meow as Heaven it is down. They're able to get one player back up as Viper and Shadow, and now the two guys left for SN. I'm wondering how they're gonna play this one. They're on the hill. They do seem like they do have the upper hand as Fluffy is popping up some shots onto Hydra, able to take Hydra down and get that confirmed kill. Viper still fighting on, not giving up on this one as he does take down one more player from Meow. It is now left with Fluffy and Summer to sort of do the work for this team and get them back into the game. We've got a pretty much what is a 2v2
I think
at
it
this
is a
particular
2v2.
point.
It is a 2v2 situation
Yeah.
for Meow and SN.
Does look like they managed to revive Aatrox over there, so it's now a 3v2. Maybe Meow can push in on the players and revive. It does look like Heaven as well will be getting that revive. So players now back in alive, getting those heals in. What do you do? Are you pushing Viper with the knock on Meow over there? So this is looking really interesting. Some couple gameplays coming into action. BH also coming into the mix over here.
No, and this is exactly what we talked about. You don't want to linger on the fight for too long. As you can see, BH now coming into the fight and attacking the guys from SM, but they're also getting third party of their own as MGC all the way and that corner. So it's a third party upon third party, and BH now down to just one guy as he's trying as much as possible to stay alive and survive, but he will be taken out right there by SN Viper, who is now the last teammate for his team. He's most likely will be looking to get himself that good placement points right there.
And talking about the leaders of game number one, does look like they were in a tough position where Shield was actually knocked over there. I wonder what had gone into play. They're up against Mars. It does look like now in the building, staying safe. I mean, they are in a good position to stay hidden here, as they are other players around them that could possibly get involved with a third party. Very close combat action that you guys are witnessing here on screen.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Exactly as you have said, they do have a really good team on their tails in form of Mars right there. Or will that be Rain? I do believe that would be Rain. Yes, they do have a good team. Rain just next to them, pushing up onto this one. They also have Mars not too far away who can get in on that third party. And this is we're seeing exactly what Sanhok is known for, just third parties upon third parties, quick rotations in. You got to prioritize getting into the zone. You don't want to be the guy who's get kipped by so many different teams. But let's see how SF plays this particular one. Who do you think is going to win this particular fight? Or you think Rain's just
I mean, I didn't see too much. I didn't see too much from Rain in game one, so I can't really say exactly what their skill level is going up against SF there. But SF showing really how it is to take those close to long distance fights, and that's what possibly could go into action. But if you see the zone, they're gonna need to make those rotations, and it does look like Rain will have the upper hand in that position. So SF Wizard and Kira in a tough position over here. It looks like it's gonna be. It might be a Rain situation where they come through with the clutch.
Oh, really tough day for Fun as they are taking down, but Yonkers also getting into a fight right there as they have lost one player. Breno God is down. It's a tough day for them in the office. They just have two players up, and they also do have the zone to battle with. But now Rain is getting at it versus SF, and oof, they are down. We got a couple of players down.
Shield trying to come in.
Being pushed right now.
Those zone rotations are putting a lot of pressure on the player. Shield managed to pick up a player right there. Beautiful from SF. SF having the upper hand over here. You got one player just making a rotation from Rain now. It's Nora who's going to try to get those placement points in for the team, because that was a GG from SF who managed to grab that W key. It's so crazy what SF is doing today.
Yeah, definitely. But you remember what I said, you want to make sure you get into the zone as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But they're definitely showing what champions are made of. You got to win your fights. You got to win your close quarter fights and get into the zone as quickly as possible. But I'm really surprised what's going on with Yonkers today. This is a team we usually see get into the zone quite quickly. But now we do see MLB, one of the teams I just spoke about in the beginning, performing in other competitions, now getting into their rhythm as Mr. Z is popping up shots onto Rays. They've been watching them for a while and they want to get into this fight. Oof, the nades going in and reducing the HP. Rays has to be really careful how they push onto this one as they take out Kato, and Mr. Z is not joking right now. But remember what we said about Sanhok. He's also got Susha outside, just stalking him, and could be a whole lot of trouble for him, as we also see Active Gaming right there on the kill feed getting taken down. Oof.
There is
What do
so
you
much
think?
action here right now. Rays in a position where they can't move front, they can't move back because they are blocked in by two different teams right now. Rex as well, looking like he's in trouble there. Zone's pushing in as well. So this is really going to be some intense gameplay that we're about to witness going in. There's 12 teams alive, 36 players. It's going down to the wire here, Fire.
Yeah, definitely. And making it out of this particular position is going to be really difficult for them. You know, one of the things that a lot of players do misunderstand, or should I say, overlook when it comes to Sanhok is how quickly the zone, tends to get smaller, and sometimes they just get caught out. As you've seen so many teams going out right there to the zone, and we're down to now so quickly 12 teams and 34 players.
Yeah, SF doing a bit there. And I can see Horse Outlaw as well. He's getting a lot of damage dealt over here. Manny manages to pick up Rex. Ray's now also putting pressure on the oppositions here. The zone as well. It's just not helping the players in this. The pressure is just on and on from teams from the zone. So many players in the same form of rotation.
So many players now having to make their way into the zone with C4 just next to Raze. Raze has to get into the zone, same as C4. MOB is just being kept right there in paradise, and Mr. Z and Cyrus really now have to sort of find a way to rescue the team. Are they going to fight through this one, or are they just going to rotate from another angle? As you see, C4 trying to make their way into the zone right next to Hawes. Then Mane and Co are now going to get into the action next to them, as Mane has been taken down. It's now left to Tolu Sovereign to find a way in, but Jarhead also goes down. It's now just left with Sovereign and Tolu to find a way to get their team back into this one.
Doesn't look good for C4. As Horse is taking the team. It might be a team wipe from C4 here. It doesn't look good on their end. Not pushing in. It's lost. Trying to see.
He's just left with Sovereign. Oh, coming in with that jump, but he's not able to do much as Eslot gets that final kill.
Beautiful team wipe from Horse right there. That's exactly what action you'd love to see on here. On the other hand, you got Arrays who, they got a 3-man in this position. They managed to get out of that zone. At rotation, will he get the knock? Just a couple more HP and he would have been down. Sauzia in a tough position right here. They're rotating. Trying to get a better position on Raze. Raze just chilling in the zone for that cover. It's not looking too good as one of their players is knocked. Does look like
really
Raze will get
right
a wipeout.
Yeah, really tough one for them as they are taken out right there by Social. This is a team you spoke about earlier on. Not seeing much about them, but they are down. We're down to just 4 teams left, and they still have a full team. But Horse right there with a couple of the building does take out one of their players as Kita is popping up shots. Remember, Horse is one of the teams who got that winner chicken dinner last week, and they're still
does
here
look really well for Haas. It does look like one of the players has been knocked, however. And Socia, on the other hand, they just pinned with the zone rotating in, and they need to, go out in the open. There's 4 teams here, 10 players alive. MGC as well, still in the zone right now. It's really good to see them make it all the way here. Nova obviously grabbing as much placement as he can. He's gonna need to camp it out from the sidelines. He can't do much as a solo.
Yeah, definitely. He can't do much. But taking a look at this particular map, we see how many teams. We have 4 teams, but we just see only, and I was going to say, Yonkers doing exactly what they do again, finding those placement points as Lewis is just outside the zone, healing up again. And this is what we know Yonkers for, We know them to just stay out and just revive until...
Doesn't look like they're going to get out of that. It is now down to 3 teams. And I see a 1v1 situation with Haas and an MGC. Haas managing to pick up that elimination on Zauzia. So that's a GG's for them. 3rd place is not bad at all. It's now coming down to the wire. Kevin And there's the bomb going to be placed over there, Kevin, on literally 10 HP. I'm not too sure how much HP he's on.
Yeah, definitely. Hers is one of those teams who do know how to finish off on that final circle. So my money is definitely on Hers to finish this one off. They're really in a very good spot, but now they need to finish up this game against Legacy and Syntax. And Legacy gets taken down. It's now left with just Syntax.
Oh,
and
GG's.
Ooh la la. Take us through. It's all you, bro. Just take us through this.
Oh my god, Haas with a huge clutch from mid-game all the way into the end-game rotation. They did manage to pick up a lot of kills. How much kills? That is 16 as well, matching the game 1 leaderboard over there. MGC coming in second with a decent amount of kills for themselves as well. And then in third place, showing some consistency. However, on the other hand, not picking up that much eliminations for the team. Zaushia coming in third with 3 eliminations. That was a really lot of close combat action there, Fire.
Yeah, definitely a lot of close combat, as you would expect from Sanhok. But you would think a lot of these teams would have learned, from previous weeks and a lot of training that they have been doing, to avoid a lot of unnecessary fights. I did see a lot of those from so many of these teams. And you don't want to do that in Sanhok. You want to make sure that you're getting yourself in the best position as possible. And you see the teams who did that today and, had a bit of luck, MGC right there and Haas, they got themselves into really good spots. As you can see Haas right there in the building. And, that paid off at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% mad plays.
That does indeed. So I mean, Sanhok quite an interesting one to work with. So it's always a fun map because everyone is forced to play quite differently than they probably would like to. But if we take a look at the standings here, so Hor's currently up at the top there, having a nice little Sanhok game, running away with those 16 kills. Sheesh. The Magician's coming in second, and of course, this is quite interesting. So we got a little bit of, some similar names that we're seeing. Of course, Scrim Farm, they're not quite where they wanted to be, but they're still in the top 10. Excelsior, they're in third, which is very similar to the first map. Team Soul Nation. Yonkers now all of a sudden woke up and they were like, okay, let's show them. Got some placement points. Not a single kill though, which is quite interesting to see, but we know Yonkers is a very good team in terms of placements, so it's not quite that surprising, but I think they still have a little bit to show for us. And Ray's coming in at 6. Mio Esports, I mean, all of a sudden, from last to 8, that's fantastic. Great little bit of reworking there. Saint coming in, as well as C4 to round off your top 10. Moving on, of course, to the next half of the leaderboard. It's interesting to see once again what a shift we have. So, Fire, I'm sorry. So, Active Gaming, they're in 12th position. And a couple of the other teams that we saw, Better Mob, they've gone up a little bit, but they're still not where they would want to be. And Fun, I feel like Fun just keeps finding horrible situations. They are constantly just in such a cluster, continuously. Such bad RNG for them today, unfortunately. But it is the luck of the draw, and I mean that's an interesting Sanhok. So at this point, I can't really sort of pinpoint a single team for myself, at least, that I say, okay, that's going to be your top 4 at the end of the night. We still have, of course, Miramar to go through, but Fire, I'm going to come to you. Who are you thinking so far for those top 4?
I'm definitely thinking Haas, Screen Farm, Yonkers, and Active Gaming. These are the teams that I've seen, push through fights over and over again today. So I'm thinking, they're most likely going to be the top 4 for me at the end of the day.
All right, Ira, your side?
I mean, if you see from the sidelines, Exosia, how do you say the name, by the way? Is it Exosia?
We'll have to ask chat. If anyone's in team that knows the team or is in the team managing, please teach us. We don't understand English, please.
So it has to be Exosia, SF, and Haas probably coming in that top 4, and then I don't know. I think maybe Yonkers, if they can pick up some elims, they could possibly make a huge comeback for the last lobby that we're about to get into. But other than that, I'm really happy to see how placement and consistency does well for the team Sausha. They're looking like my favorite underdogs, if that makes sense.
yeah, I'm just happy to see new names in the leaderboard, and we'll
Exactly.
have to wait and see. It's Miramar next. Of course, for those of you who are ready and waiting for that last map, you're gonna have to wait just a little while longer. I'm gonna go to a quick break, but of course, this is the Inkosi Super Cup Season 3, week number 3, and we've got some more PUBG Mobile when we get back. So stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. This is season 3 of the Inkosi Super Cup. We are in week 3, and we are going to the third map. A lot of threes in that sentence, but thankfully, I am not alone. I'm joined by Iro and Fire, who have just taken you through Sanhok, which was actually quite crazy. If we look at the standings now, we can get a little bit of a reminder later on about what happened and how it happened. But to remind you, we've got one more map. It's Miramar. It's one more opportunity for these teams to potentially get themselves higher up on that leaderboard, which of course is going to go through on the Northern Gaming Africa social. So please make sure that you're following them, because if enough of you follow, then maybe one day they will tell me to not tell you, so then you can tell me to shush. So think of it that way. Go and follow their socials, please. Moving on though, Miramar is a map we know it's quite a long distance. It's quite a lot to work with, and if we're looking at Erangel, the way that those standings really shifted, the way that it changed, it's quite interesting. So, Iro, take me through it. What was your expectations after the first map going into this one? Sanhok, it was quite a fun one, but it was quite surprising.
Yeah, definitely surprising on the front end. I mean, Scrum Farm grabbing game one, and look where they're placing, 7th in this one. Horizon Esports grabbing the same amount of kills as SF over there, so it's been crazy from them, but a lot of action and, RNG based situations going to play. We did see the zones pull ridiculously far. I mean, Mars even had to make some really, really long rotations just to get in. And then on the other hand as well, Yonkers as well, just, playing zone, not grabbing any eliminations at all. So it was an interesting game or two for the players over here at the Inkosi Super Cup.
Interesting indeed. And I mean, I think that's the beauty of the Inkosi Super Cup, because it's a weekly thing. Because as we were just talking about the brackets, and Iro had the horrible realization that these teams that qualify, we have, as you said, 179 that signed up. They all get filtered into groups of 20. Then they have one game to qualify, and only the top 2 from each group go through to the top 18 that you're looking at right now, or the top 20 in most cases. So that's crazy. That's a lot of pressure to work with, and that's, if you have one bad game, come back next week, maybe it will be better. So it's quite hectic, and it's a lot of pressure, but it makes for a very interesting couple of games, because then you bring out all these crazy strats, you bring out all these crazy plays, you bring out teams that really, really do well, even though we didn't expect them to. So Fire, tell me, what's some of the teams that you look out for on a weekly basis? I mean, of course, I know you've got your own little team there that you're looking out and supporting from the sidelines, but what are some of the other teams that you keep an eye out for?
Yeah, definitely. I do keep an eye out for teams like Yonkers, teams like Seoul, because even Horse, they bring the action, in the game every single week. I'm also looking out for those teams who, I mean, we do know how great they are, but they haven't really performed well. So I'm really hoping we begin to see them get into that rhythm regularly. Like active gaming, fun, MOB. There's are teams that we've seen in different competitions perform really well and go toe to toe against the best of the best. And I'm hoping to see them get into that constant rhythm and show what they're capable of.
Mm-mm. Now, Miramar, we know it, we love it. Some of us hate it. Who knows? In the middle, maybe. But if you're a sniper, if you're someone that really works well with long distance, I think Miramar is one of those fantastic maps. I mean, it's one of the best maps in terms of visibility. You can see people coming from miles, literally. So hopefully you can shoot the shots from miles. But I don't know, for you, Fire, how does the strategy change going to Miramar? I mean, especially after a map like Sanhok. I mean, it's sort of like a complete 180 in terms of strategy.
Yeah, it does. It always seems to be one of those maps where you can get the freedom to loot away, but there are also situations where a team may just land in your drop spot, and you have to get into those early actions. But there's usually a lot of space to sort of get that breather in the beginning, get your loot, and just rotate into that perfect spot in the zone. But you don't want to rotate in quite late, because late comers always get blown off the vehicles.
Yeah, the nades tonight have been quite interesting. I think the nades every single weekend in Corsi have been quite surprising, to say the least. But enough about me talking and babbling in your guys' ears. I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Iro and Fire. They're going to take you through Miramar. It's a fantastic map. I lied. It's fun. It's so much great. But they're going to take you through it. This is the Inkosi Super Cup Season 3. So please make sure that you follow Not Gaming Africa socials again so you can make me shush about it. But ultimately, guys, take it away.
All right. We're down for the third game of the night. And Arrow, I'm really curious to see how this game begins to unfold. We had Haas take on the second game in Sanhok. Do you think you're going to be seeing them coming in again with that winner chicken dinner? You know, we've not had any team throughout the Inkosi win back-to-back winner chicken dinners, or even two on a particular night. Do you think we're going to see a new team come into the fold and
On,
get that chicken dinner in this third game?
Honestly, I don't think so. Like you mentioned, it's a complete turnaround of gameplay from Sanhok to Miramar. You have a much more bigger map, which means, that long distance shots can come into action. We didn't see them grab game one as well. When game one's slightly sort of same situation, long distance to short range as well. So, I mean, it comes down to your RNG as well. Speaking of about RNG, does look like Haas manages to pick up Fun. So Fun not having a really good evening or week for them. They struggling since game one to game three. Off spawn fights are consistently happening for them. And this time around, going against the team that has grabbed game number two is not going to be easy. It does look like the advantage from Haas is looking really solid. They're trying to surround the players' Fun right now. It's K9 and Derry left alone, I believe, in this situation to sort of clutch up. What do you do here, Fire? What do you do here?
Yeah, in this particular position, you want to make sure that you at least reduce the deficit and take out one or two players. Haas is pretty spread out right now, so if they could push one player, take him down, move to the next and the next one, then they might give themselves a better opportunity in this particular fight. Fun has been pretty unlucky, getting taken out quite early.
Yeah.
In the first game they played and in the second game they were also as unlucky. So I'm hoping to see them probably find a way to win this particular fight. They haven't managed to come in with a full team.
Yeah.
In this particular day, they've come in with three. They came in with three players in the last game, and also this one.
Yeah. So it's pretty tough. The numbers are not there for your team. You're going into an off-spawn fight situation already 4-3. So if one of your players are getting knocked in this situation, it's huge disadvantage gameplay coming from you. But what I do like about Fun is that they consistently keeping the exits and entrance. Exactly what I was talking about, keeping those entrances closed and so forth. So they managed to grab one knock on Outlaw over there. But it's the gunfire from Losk who will be able to, keep that pressure on Fun, putting on a lot of, consistent gameplay off spawn. But you are seeing Fun Sex get knocked over there.
Yeah, definitely seeing Fonseca getting knocked right there. So they do have to get that revive on, and Hall's also able to get that revive. It is toe-to-toe between these two teams right here. And Katakam, trying as much as possible to get that finish. And Derry sending on that nade, forcing the team Hawes to just retreat in from their particular position.
This is some really good, consistent gameplay from Fun. They're keeping together, staying together, sticking to each other like glue. Haas also using a lot of their meds, trying to stay alive. It doesn't look really well from them. They're trying to see if they can come through with another entrance over here.
Yeah, definitely. It is all about who draws first blood in this particular fight. As you can see, Haas, just approaching this one quite cautiously, trying as much as possible to see if they could take out this entire team and just surrounding Derry and K9, right? Who knows how it's going to go. K9 does have to provide his team his player a whole lot of support right there. As Eslock and Katakal look to try to push onto that particular position right next to Derry. Oof,
maybe Derry can get the jump out the window, come from behind gameplay. Sex finally finding himself some heals there. He's sort of healed up a bit, but it's not going to be enough against Haas. I don't think this is going to be an easy fight. for fun. You know, the situations with these off-spawn fights as well is that they take so long between the players. It's a lot of passive gameplay that you're going to witness between them. You know, a couple shots here and there, but it's not going to be huge for them in order to sort of grab quick fights. This then also becomes disadvantageous because as everyone is looting up, getting enough meds in for mid-game, you here, on the other hand, taking up a very, very long fight.
Yeah, definitely. Also, just taking a look at this, it does look like Katakawa is setting himself up for that push. He's getting really, really impatient right now as they are looking to make that push onto the guys from Fun, and that may be their downfall, as I suspect. They do not have, you know, they may just be at a disadvantage if they do decide to push onto that position or into those houses where Derry or K9 are right now.
Yeah,
It's a really tough one to make, and it's all about who draws first blood at this particular point in time, who gets the first knock, and who goes on to push the rest of the players. It's a 3v4.
it
Let's see how
is.
this one does play out.
I'm pretty sure Haas knows that as well, that it's a 3v4 situation, but they're playing so passive, keeping defensive right there. Nobody has the heals to sort of push in, like you mentioned. They're waiting for whoever draws that first blood, that first knock, and then whoever does that will be the team to sort of double key and get that into effect. But, you're talking about ammo as well. Do the players have enough ammo to take the gunfights back and forth as we were seeing quite earlier on? Now it's just scouting and waiting. Who comes down to who has the most patience as well? Because if it was me, I would storm in there with my full team, grab Derry, and it does look like it's gonna be K9 who gets knocked over there. And it's gunfire back and forth. Haas does lose one player as well, but it's a 3v1. They're pushing on Derry. Derry gets wiped, and that's a GG's in the book. 2 players knocked, but Haas will come through victorious in the off-spawn fight. And fun. Unfortunately, they're not having a fun day for them.
Yeah, definitely not having a good day right there, as they do get taken out quite early in 17th place.
Yeah.
Oof, it's a really, really been really tough for them. But GG's to Horse, they are a great team, not taking anything away from them. They win that particular fight. Fun, did show their capability, as they did knock down 2 guys in that particular one. But yeah, Horse gets out of this one after winning the second game with 3 kill points already to their name. So that definitely does give them some advantages as we now take a look at different teams now trying to rotate into the zone. Horse continues with the onslaught, and it does look like they may be the lucky ones here today. But one of the players already getting a knock to the play zone.
Ooh. Yonkers not having a beautiful day or evening, but let's see what happens this time around. Their HP is extremely low. They're sitting in Storm. This is the same situation we saw in Sanhok. What do you think's happened this week for Yonkers?
I just think it's been a whole different dynamics when it comes to the different teams that have now come into this particular lobby. Just bringing a different kind of style, different kind of gameplay. Now they have to contend with teams such as C4, Active Gaming, Saints, SF, still with Haas, Mars. There's so many different teams that can go toe to toe with any team, and yeah, it just gives them it just makes it a whole lot tougher for them. And as weeks begin to progress, the teams are now understanding each other more. Things, the same tricks that worked last week may not work for them this week. So yeah, the competition is getting tougher and tougher as the weeks progress.
Yeah, definitely. And, with that one game to sort of qualify into what you guys are spectating right now, I mean, you are getting the elite of the elite participating in these 3 games over here. And it's not going to be easy. Each week is going to be more fearful and more dangerous to partake in. And Haas, on the other hand, they managed to, heal up a bit and will be making those rotations right now. On the other hand, you got also Exio with 2 players down already.
Oof. And you can see right there on the kill feed, Hus does lose another player right there to the play zone. The play zone being absolutely OP, you know, taking out a couple of players. But Susha, I do hope I'm pronouncing that well. He does have two players down, and the guys from TX. Is it TX? Yes, TX, J and Co. Now just hanging right there on the hill. I'm not sure they know it's just two players because you should actually push up and get that finish, if
That
it's
could
just two
be some
players are
good loot
fighting.
that you can get for your team as well. I mean, this seems
Yeah.
absolute free for the team techs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that maybe they're not aware of the situation, and they seem to be a passive team this entire 3 games, so they don't want to risk anything going into the last lobby.
Yeah, definitely. But they do need to be careful as they do have some other team on their tail right there. And they have to be careful how they actually approach that particular fight because they could be third partied. And I do believe that's what's sort of, keeping them, just hanging out right there on the hill, and not push up to that one. But now we see Active Gaming popping shots onto MGC as they do try to rotate. Kelvin and Cole just, getting out of this particular position. Active Gaming just sitting really safe. We did see a lot of action in the first game from ZZB
Mm,
coming in with 7 kills right there in that game, and it does look like he's thirsty for more kills.
mm.
What would you say? What would you say about his performance in the first game?
His performance was exceptional. I mean, like I mentioned, being 2 players, they were getting eliminations from behind SF because they were positioned on the hill behind SF. ZSB did really really well. He controlled that. He was getting a couple knocks and so forth. And yeah, no, he did really well. I'm looking forward, like game 1 and game 3, sort of similar situations that you could hope for. So let's see what Active Gaming can do in this position for the last map. It's a huge map, and of the players are still alive. 60 players, 16 teams still in this and race as well. They've shown some true consistency throughout the entire lobbies. They've been like my favorite to watch because of how passive they are, but yet at the same point they know how to pin a team and so forth. So let's see what happens this time around. Cave C4 as well. They've been aggressive, but haven't been completing their kills and so forth.
Yeah, I do believe C4 is another team I'll just quickly talk about. They do have a whole lot of history, especially when it comes to scrims and competitions. But they're a team that has formed from many, old teams that we used to know. We have Mane, who came from, a team that sort of got disbanded called Podge. They were a really strong team. We also have Jarhead, who came from a team called AFK. They were also a really good team. We have Tool Sovereign also from that same team, AFK, and Tolu, who came from a team that has disbanded called Shell Shock. These were really good teams, and it does seem like they still have to work a lot on their synergy, before they can begin to perform at the level that they're known for.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, C4 is positioned in a fair place. They got that heal, so let's see what happens. I think the Rays and them could possibly come through down here as well. Not entirely sure what the rotations are going to be like over there, but Rays has been picking up elims on SN right there, and you can see another player goes down from SN.
Yeah, definitely. They have lost 2 players in this particular one. I'm
Oof.
probably just going to decide, to just go all the way into the zone and leave that particular fight, prioritize placement points. Even if they're just 2 players, they're still giving themselves more chances as they do decide they're just gonna get into that building right there.
Active Gaming.
All right. So active gaming, you know, just having some players just around them as ZZB has now gotten 1 kill to his name, but also getting stuck right there from the guys from TE. And they're getting those third party shots. they do need to be careful about those third-party shots coming in from TE just staying at the distance.
There's a lot of teams making their way in. You got Saint, you got Tex, you got Active Gaming, all sort of in a close range where they can take some shots right now. Saint looking really low as well on HP. Tex, on the other hand, they've got the upper hand in this one, I would say, in terms of their position. Some nice shots coming in from ZZB over there, and a beautiful knock on Saint Moon. So that's some good shots, especially at that range. Just love to see that.
And they're just left with one player from that particular team. Are they going to be pushing up onto that particular one and getting that finish? I'm not sure what's going to be their play, but usually what teams will do at this particular point is to get that confirmed onto the teams. And it does look like they've actually gotten a couple of confirms right now. Yeah, they have gotten a couple of confirms, and we will now be rotating into that zone, prioritizing those placement points. We still got about 15 teams in this zone, and Halls is still in the battle, though. You know, another team that we haven't spoken about today is Miramar Esports. We've seen them in a whole lot of screams. I'm not sure if they're still a female team, but I do remember them being a really, really good female team. We saw in a lot of screams. I do think their roster has changed a little bit, and that does mean, you know, they need to sort of build that synergy again.
Yeah.
And how long do you think it takes teams to you know, build that synergy when they switch up, you know, a couple of players?
Honestly, it depends how much time they're putting into the game, how much scrimming they're doing. You know, if a team is playing maybe 2 to 3 hours a day, playing scrims, playing pubs, or whatever the case may be, then it could take like a full week to get that chemistry in. And it also depends on, you know, what you guys do outside just scrimming, gaming. If you guys chill in Discords, if you guys, like, you know, chat quite often, that chemistry builds up way faster. And I would be interested to find out, like, what the teams here have been doing in their weeks to, you know, build up to register and participate in the Inkosi Super Cup.
Yeah, definitely. You can now see that Yonkos is now getting into the rhythm themselves as they're just hanging right there on this building. You see them just taking out the guys from Active Gaming with that blown up vehicle, and now turning their sights onto MGC as Brenogard is popping some shots onto them, trying to get those knocks, trying to make sure he can get as much opportunity. But the guys from TE doing what they do best and popping up them shots, just being like, you know, an annoying team just on different teams' tails.
Trying to get out of that position, he will get knocked, and it doesn't look like Yonkers will survive this. I mean, you got Tex, who's got a good position on them, and it's Louis left alone. They need to probably try and make some plays here for a revive so that they can, you know, show us exactly who they are and why they've come back yet again this week to dominate. But Tex, on the other hand, they're putting a lot of pressure on the heels here. Like, that's a good position if you want to get those third-party shots in.
Yeah, that was a very risky move from Brenogard, you know, trying as much as possible to get a heal onto his team. But right now you do see Rain with Slayer right there against Send. And it does look like Slayer is the last hopeful for his team as Mazekind is just popping up them Uzi shots onto him and trying to get that kill point. They do have 4 kills right here. We're down to 12 teams left. And TE has just been hanging in this particular position. They've got a good spot right there on the mountain. You got Raze down there. You got MGC. Yonkos is still on the bridge with Lewis trying to make his way in. Yonkos hasn't had, you know, they have tried as much as possible, you know, to get themselves, you know, into the fight. You know, they've not been shy of fighting, but they've not just been as lucky as you will hope. As Lewis is now driving around a couple of teams right here, he's in a really dangerous spot as he's approaching Raze, and it does look like he may get into a whole lot of trouble right there. I'll be curious to see how he does find a way to fight out of this one, but he gets taken down right there.
Yonkers doing some pretty dangerous rotations over there. I don't understand the knowledge behind them. It's very risky to go out in the open like that, especially in a vehicle. It's open shots to you. You inviting players to shoot at you. But these long shots coming in from the player Pennywise, it's exceptional. I mean, putting a lot of pressure. But again, he's not in zone. He's letting the players know exactly where his location is. It's not very good a strategy again from Yonkers. And now he's going to be doing the dangerous rotation. And let's see exactly what happens for him. He could get focused here. And that could be Yonkers out of game 3 and with a bad week to the name. Couple shots. Nothing really registering right there. Very risky, but it does look like he will manage to get out of this successfully. No, he won't. And it is a team wipe from Yonkers and out. Any last words to say about the team right there?
I just think they've not been as lucky as they usually are. They've shown that they can fight, they can battle in a team, but sometimes it's just down to those tiny little decisions, especially the one made by Brennan God right there on the bridge, deciding to go and revive his teammates. Sometimes, it's better to sacrifice one for the good of the entire team and just let that one player go. We'll still be 3 players, but so sometimes you want to take that risk and revive, and it may just cost you the game.
We've seen a different sort of like end game coming to play. Send wasn't really involved in the game 1, game 2 situation, but now here alive. And BH as well was eliminated quite early when they tried getting into that third-party involvement with Fun and Meow, if I'm not mistaken, in Sanhok. But here you are seeing all teams taking part in this.
Yeah, we usually see teams throughout the entire Inkosi perform differently from game to game, and we're now seeing a lot of teams that didn't perform well in game 1, such as Send and BH, now come into this particular third game and show the different talents, as Kitty popping in those shots right there and taking down pretty much what was about 60% HP off. We're down to 7 teams. We got 18 alive, and Susha now coming into this one. Remember, you talked about Susha and how their team you're looking to see perform well.
Yeah, it's just how they maneuver in the map that gives them that advantage, that placement points, and you can see them picking up an elimination on Meow over there. So this is really good from Sausha, especially being 2 players basically from mid game all the way to where they are, and picking up some knocks and hopefully some eliminations, confirmed eliminations as well. MGC Legacy as well, doing a bit and pieces over there.
Yeah, so MGC has been another team that has been doing well throughout the entire Inkosi, but now it does look like they may get that opportunity to finally get that winner chicken dinner, and Susha as well do have an opportunity as they're pushing up onto this team, as Venom does get that knock. Venom
that was a quick elimination over there.
Yeah, quick elimination, as the guys from Tex are showing why they are part of the game right here. They do seem to be a really patient team, as they've just been stalking and disturbing teams throughout this entire lobby. We're down to MGC, we're down to Sand and Tex. Oof, it's really close margins to see who's going to win this final one, as MGC have got 3 players. It's a 3v2v2. Spectre is definitely going to get revived right there, while Kelvin just sort of holds up. You can see the guys from Sand just being absolutely, itchy, looking to see how they could take out a couple of players right there. But I'm curious. I can't call this. I can't really tell who's going to win this particular fight.
In the way it looks like Tex has got in the zone, if I'm not mistaken. So they're in a good position here. MGC may be in a pinched position because you got Sand on the right side of Tex and MGC in the middle, needing to make an open rotation. There's hardly any cover for the team over there, so it's going to be pretty tough for MGC and his team. But it is a 3v2-2. Let's see what can go into play.
Yeah, definitely going to be a tough one for them, as the guys from Send, are on their tail, as well as Legacy and Spectre trying to make their way into the zone. You also got You also got text right there on the hill, and yeah, oof, it's gonna be a really tough one. But they do decide to take some strategy off Yonkers and just keep on healing right there outside the zone.
Mm.
I do think that may just as well work for them as they send out two players, to just go in and attack the teams. Wow, they just keep on with that revive.
It doesn't look too good for MGC right here. And we are going to see a couple grenades being thrown at each other right now. It is Tex Sand versus MGC. MGC Spectre very low right now in terms of HP, as well as Calvin. He's taking an adrenaline there. He's going to heal up. Spectre needing to heal up. I don't know if he has any heals. Tex Venom. Couple shots here. Legacy looking like he's going to get knocked, and it is a beautiful from Clown. He does manage to pick that up. It is Sand who's going to go through with the third party as well. This could be Sand's victory.
Hussein coming in with that third party right there. It is now down to what is a one. Ooh, that's almost looking. That was almost looking like a 1v1 for a second right there, but it does
Almost.
look like it's a game. It's all up to MGC. They do have two guys up. Remember, they had a player who just kept on reviving right there outside, but now Spectre is coming into that particular fight. Oh, easy. Oh, easy. It does seem like he's swimming.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure
On the
what's-
other hand, it
Okay,
managed to revive the player
not
over
even
there.
sure.
So it is a 3v1. Will they get this revive? They do so. It's a 3v2. Send is possibly still in this to grab the winner chicken dinner. It is going down to the literally last wire of the zone right now. Spectre moving on Send. They're not really knowing where the location is of Send. In fact, Calvin now scoping in on Sand. Kitty. This is looking very advantageous to Calvin in the match. They do have the upper hand on the hill. It is a shot from Kitty, almost managing to knock Calvin there, but unfortunately not coming into play.
Yeah, definitely. It is now just down to Kelvin, as I do see that Legacy is not in this particular fight. I'm not too sure. Um, I mean, it's all down to Kelvin to try to take it on against Kitty. Yeah, who knows how this particular one is gonna go.
I mean, Kitty and them will be making those rotations. They're needing to. Calvin has the upper hand on zone, and Legacy now coming from behind. He manages to pick up Masakund, and it's a 1v1 situation with Kitty and Legacy, but it's Legacy with the clutch and a beautiful win for MGC. They came from the bottom and worked their way up to eliminate Tex and then send beautiful gameplay from MGC there.
GG's to Legacy right there, coming in that one with 8 kills to his name, and MGC finally getting that winner with a chicken dinner. Like we said, throughout the Inkosi, we've seen different teams come up and perform week in, week out. There's been no single team winning 2 chicken dinners on the night. This is the 3rd week of the Nodwin Inkosi Super Cup 3, and MGC getting themselves 12 kills right there. Send, we got text. It has been a different night with different teams showing what they're capable of.
The entire 3 lobbies looking very different from first to third. I mean, if you look now as well, Tex was nowhere close to 3rd position, but they managed to do themselves really well. And the victory or the winner chicken dinner being MGC. I was surprised to see them actually grab that. I thought they were going to be in a pinched position from Tex and Send, but it didn't come into play. However, Calvin worked his way from behind, managing to pick up and do what he does best.
Yeah, I like the fact that we've had such a different set of teams at the top. I like that we've had a different set of teams in the top 18 in general. So, I mean, looking at that game, you guys were just talking about it, but you can continue talking about it a little more. So take us through this. What was the expectation going into this Miramar map, and how did they surprise you with the different set of top 10 and top 5s, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, Magicians are a team that we've seen do pretty much average throughout the entire Inkosi. But then they've always been a team that has shown that glimpse of magic, if I must say, and they finally did get they deserved a win here. But I was surprised to not see the guys like Hawes, Yonkers, do better in this particular game, as we've seen from them, in previous weeks. But yeah, that's PUBG as is. Even right here in the second table, you have Soul, Scream, Fam, Active Gaming, who did really well in the first game. Not able to find those placement points in this third game. But yeah, that's the game we know and love, and yeah, it is what it is.
Is indeed. I mean, RNG is always going to come into it either way. It's battle royales, but here is the overall leaderboard for tonight. So, major congratulations to the magicians who are going to be taking that first spot, and of course, going to be taking the max share of that prize pool for this week. Then, of course, we've got Exhaustia. I hope we've said that right. Again, we didn't have anyone in chat tell us, guys. Please. Explain to us how to English, man. And
Yeah.
going through into third place, we've got Scrim Farm, and we've got in fourth place Horde. So, but all of those top four will be taking a share of the prize pool. And as for the rest, we've got Team Soul Nation, Active Gaming, Mortal Chaos, Raise Clan. Of course, all of these points are going to go to the overall leaderboard, which you can find on the Northern Gaming Africa socials. Again, if you want to make me stop saying that, then go follow them. So then they can tell me that I don't have to say that. So again, please go do that. Thank you. I mean, really an interesting game tonight. I'm happy to see that we've had so many different teams coming through. I'm happy to see we had such a beautiful, bunch of teams and combinations of teams ending up in your top 10, your top 8. We've got Yonkers in 9th position, which is weird. I'm not going to
Yeah,
lie.
extremely
It's
weird.
so,
Extremely weird.
so weird. They've been such a dominating force, and now to see them come through in 9th, like, you can go and be like, okay, maybe they didn't have a great night, but maybe we just have some really crazy competition coming through, some beautiful talent coming through and showing us that this is still so, so, so good of a competition to watch. So again, guys, if you're sitting in chat and you're like, hey, you know what, we can do better, then come register, come show off your skills, register for the next week of the Inkosi Super Cup, and come show us that you can make it to the leaderboard, that you can take your share of the prize pool, and then, hey, maybe you can be the next Yonkers, you could be the next team that we're hyping up and so excited to watch and witness. I want to say thank you to Iro and Fire for joining me tonight. Iro, it was nice to see you finally debuting on the Inkosi Super Cup. So again, for you guys that don't know, both Iro and Fire came through the talent search of the Northern Gaming Africa social page, and they really put themselves out there to get to this place. So if you don't, like the game for some reason, you didn't like the content, you at least have to like these guys. So go and give them a lot of love on social media, and give them a lot of love, of course, on the Northern Gaming Africa socials. Again, if you want to make me stop saying this, please go follow them.
Oh, please follow them, guys.
Please.
Follow.
Please. I have to say this. I have to say this so much, so please go do it. But that's been the Inkosi Super Cup Season 3, Week 3. It's been such an interesting one, and I can't wait for the next week because I still think that there's a lot of talent out there. I think we're still going to get a lot of surprises next week.
Definitely.
Ira, I'm going to go to you since it was your first night. Who stood out for you tonight?
Like I mentioned, the Placement Warriors is what I would give their nickname to. It's the Exocia team. They did extremely well, not grabbing a winner chicken dinner, but still coming top 3. And if you look at the kills that they had, in the top 3, you had, 20 plus kills, but for them, they only had 14 kills to their name. So they really stood out with those placement points. They did exceptionally well in the third map, being a 2-man going into that end game, but grabbing 4 eliminations. I said that's a GG in my books, and they did exceptionally well today.
I think they did really fantastically. And for you, Fire, what was the standout today?
I mean, it was definitely all the new teams that came out to show how great they were. Of course, Active Gaming now finally getting into the scene and, showing what they're capable of, especially in that first game. But the standout, like he said, is Susha, just getting those placements, showing that, it's not just about the winner with a chicken dinner, as we saw from Yonkers in the first week. It's all about just the consistency, just keep going over and over again, and, you get your chance.
I agree. And I mean, on that note of consistency, guys, please make sure you register for the next week. We want to see you. We want to celebrate, the talent that we've got in Africa. And the only way we can do that is if you register. So please include yourselves. We want to see you. Ultimately, though, guys, this has been week 3 of the season 3 of the Inkosi Super Cup, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming Africa. Please, it's been fantastic. Go give these guys some love. They've done fantastically tonight. So ultimately, guys, we're going to have to say goodnight, and we'll see you next week.